Hi, everybody. I'd like to share a concept that really helps me in my practice and my teaching and give some examples about how you might apply it in your practice. So the concept is outer dial and inner dial. So what I mean by that, the outer dial is the outer shape of the pose, what it looks like from the outside, the broad strokes of it, where your arms and legs are, the general idea. And then the inner dial is the inner exploration that you do within that shape. So the subtle fine tuning, the applying of habit patterns you might be learning about in your body, feeling your breath, just physical perception, and then the little tiny things you do about that, and just the growing awareness of what's happening inside the pose. So I think a lot of emphasis is placed on the outer dial because that's the part we can see, but it's much more limited. It's limited by what you can physically do. So if your body has physical disabilities, if you're getting older, if you're new to yoga, the outer shape may look quite different than what you see in a magazine or what the teacher's doing or what the person next to you is doing, and that can be discouraging if you think that's the only thing happening. So regardless of what the outer shape of the pose is, the inner dial is infinite, and there is no end to the subtlety you might discover within a pose. So for instance, chair pose, Utkatasana. So chair pose, the knees are bent, the arms are up. A fairly basic pose. Almost anyone can do it. If it doesn't work for you in certain ways, there's ways to modify the outer shape. You could have your feet apart. If you can't take your arms overhead, you could have them part way or even take the arms out of the pose. So the outer shape is quite simple. Something along this line or this line. Now, what's going on inside? So I'm just going to give some examples of what I'm thinking about in chair pose so that you can see how you could take this inner dial. So for me, when my arms are up, I'm thinking shoulders down. Between my shoulders and my ears, space. I'm thinking outwardly rotating my upper arms so that my shoulders are dropping. I'm just doing that infinitely. I'm thinking belly drawing in, engaging my abdominals as if I were doing crunches. I'm thinking about my pelvis and what's the best placement of it, knowing I have a tendency for sway back, so a little bit of a drop for me. I'm thinking drawing energy up from the soles of my feet, through my inner legs, up through my pelvic floor. And I'm thinking about lifting the arches of my feet. So all that is going on within the pose. And then I'm checking, is my face relaxed? Am I clenching my teeth? How's my breath? How's the quality of my breath? And so that inner dial, you can add things as you're ready. So like a juggler adds a ball when they're ready. Pick one or two when you're new. Can I drop my shoulders? Could I bring the abdominals in to bring support and length to my back? And then in every pose, you're checking in on these things. You got your little mental checklist. And when you're ready, you add more until you're at capacity. And that grows as you practice because your capacity for feeling and understanding and holding things grows. So all of that can happen regardless of what the outer shape looks like. There is a quadriplegic yoga teacher that used to be full able-bodied, so he remembers and has the felt sense of doing these poses, and he teaches, and what he says is he can feel the energy moving through his inert body because that inner dial, he's using the inner dial even though his body can't do any of it. So when you understand the lines of energy, the concepts, the going towards, you can do that fully and continually and never-endingly, regardless of what your physical body can do. And this is where just the practice opens up. before I got this, I would get quite bored in my practice because it's like, okay, how do you do the outer shape? All right, got it. Now what's for lunch? Because if there's no inner dial, the outer shapes, there are only so many. So the practice can become kind of stagnant and like autopilot. So challenging yourself to go in, and we can do that right away as soon as possible, and it doesn't matter what your physical body can do. So hopefully that's helpful. Please shoot me a message if you're wanting to discuss it further or curious about something else. Enjoy your day.